Food today is not just about pleasure or feeling full. It's the stuff on TV shows, health warnings and obesity fears. Should we worry about what we eat? This battle of ideas debate had foodies on the edge of their seats. Here's a glimpse of what took place.
Amanda, I'm going to start with you. You're the obvious person as a nutritionist. Are we what we eat?
Yes, physically we are. I was reading recently in a report, and I hate statistics because I'm hopeless at statistics, but I was reading that we have 70,000 preventable deaths in the UK through, if people were to eat according to the nutrition guidelines that we have, healthy eating, we could prevent 70,000 deaths. So at the extreme level, yes, I think we are what we eat in terms of surviving.
We do seem to be living in an era where politicians and health campaigners want to go beyond education, and increasingly they're trying to coerce us, they're trying to force us to live a so-called perfect lifestyle. And I have to say, Amanda earlier mentioned that a figure of 70,000 preventable deaths from, I don't know, from obesity or whatever. I mean, I'm sure that figure is simply plucked from thin air by health campaigners. There's no way they can possibly come up with a figure like that. Recently, we've seen restrictions on television advertising. Sugar-coated cereals are no longer allowed to be advertised before a certain time. Now, you can bet your bottom dollar that in the next 2 or 3 years there'll be further restrictions, possibly actual prohibition on any sort of advertising for certain types of food. Now, do politicians and campaigners think that we're all completely stupid, that we don't have the ability to think for ourselves and choose how we wish to live our lives? I mean, at the moment they're talking about, for example, even putting calories on menus when you go to a restaurant.
That's the kind of legislation which really gets up people's noses, and particularly coming from the industry side of things. If you're doing daily specials, you know, I want my chefs to be in the kitchen cooking daily specials to make sure that when you come in and order it, you have a fantastic meal and you think it's value for money. I don't want them sitting in front of a calculator and a computer working out, you know, to the nth degree how many calories it's going to take.
Chinese people, our greeting word every day is "Have you eaten?" 你吃饭了吗? That's Mandarin. Yeah. So everybody asks this first rather than how is the weather today? Oh, very bad today. It's raining. But we ask, 你吃饭了吗? Have you eaten? Very nice. You know the face. So because all written on their face, the smells of aubergine and the tomato with eggs. Because my food is all home cooking, not number 76 in the Chinese takeaway. You know, chicken with chow mein. That's not my food.
Yeah, I was intrigued by Amanda's introduction. She made the point that 70,000 people are going to die a premature, no doubt, painful and disfiguring and deeply distressing death. That's not providing information, that's propaganda. Amanda herself says, I've read this somewhere. I don't know, silly me, I don't know anything about statistics. It's not required to produce any justification for this extraordinary allegation. 70,000 people are dying because of their diet. It's rubbish. It doesn't stand looking at. You cannot produce evidence to substantiate it, as indeed you can't for most of the claims that are made in it. For example, the government says everybody should eat 5 a day fruit and veg. When this came out a few years ago, I wrote to the government to ask, where is the evidence for this? I'm still waiting for the answer. I'm a doctor. In our surgery, we have in the last year celebrated 3 patients reaching the age of 100. In 1910, and I looked this up, there were 100 people in this country who are over 100. There are now 7,000 every year. And we've got a crisis of premature death from people's diet. I mean, this is just, it's mad. You know, it's out of all proportion to reality.
Just before I get the
living
speakers.
longer and healthy lives than ever before, and even though we're supposed to be eating ourselves to death, it's rubbish.
I'm going to give
you know, that figure was from the Cabinet Office food analysis. It was in the beginning of this year, so you're very welcome to go and look at it and look at the sources and argue where they came from.
Well, that's all we have time for. I'm Ruji Yasmin and you've been watching World Bites. We look forward to reading your responses online. Just hit Viewers Bite Back.